is Ethan Tingler, front tire changer for the 3-car Austin Dillon. You're listening to Back of the Pack podcast on Fantasy Focus. Hell yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Back of the Pack here on Fantasy Focused, live post-Dixie Vodka 400, headed into the Geico 500 at Talladega. We're going racing, boys. It's been a week since we've been on the mic together. How you doing?
Great. I know it feels like forever. We were so used to getting on every 3 or 4 days. We're getting in our rhythm, and I'm excited to be back and talking NASCAR.
Yeah, Freeman, how's your shoulder doing after trying to reel in that Goliath grouper there you had down here in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida?
Man, it's more about the hips. Everyone on the boat was battled and bruised up from not having a belt, just throwing the kind of medium tackle into their stomach or into their waist. So it was a fun fight. Definitely some bruises to.
You didn't have a belt?
No, we weren't fishing for them. We were going out for some fun on light and medium tackle, and we hooked up a Goliath grouper, and that was a fun fight.
Oh, good Lord. I can only imagine that. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad to be back. Talladega this week. And I'll tell you, Cliff Hamsteak does not appreciate this track, so I'm all ears. I want all the information coming from you, Freeman.
I hate to hear that Cliff doesn't like it. I love Talladega. It's among the short tracks. It's kind of my favorite races on the schedule. So excited to jump in to Talladega with you guys. But before we do that, just a quick little recap on Homestead. Like we said, we haven't been in action for a few days. It seems like forever, but 5 or 6 days now. But at Homestead, Denny Hamlin wins. I mean, Levy over here, your guy, just is taking hardware home every day. Oh, that shirt.
I got a Denny shirt on and Chase in second. Is there a better 1-2 finish than Denny and Chase? I mean, come on,
man.
boys.
You are just you're on the gravy train right now.
Woo!
So that was a great race.
That
was a great race. It was such an entertaining race because sometimes Homestead has produced anticlimactic kind of finishes and races. It usually had served as the final race for many seasons in the past, but that's going to be changing hands this year going to Phoenix. But it was a great race. You had a lot of front runners jockeying for position. There's a lot of passing going on, so it was entertaining for me. And it was a late race. Again, more rain impacted the schedule, but nonetheless, good to see racing. As my pup walks in here with his clippy nails.
Love it, man.
It wouldn't be a podcast without that thing doing a trapeze routine behind.
Dude, he's a sheepdog, so he comes in here and he makes sure everyone's okay. Then he walks his way out, and then he comes back in. Nervous energy.
I love it.
But yeah, like looking at Homestead, a great race, another under the lights race we weren't expecting. So I was enjoying it. So like you said, Elliott finished second. I think Blaney finished third. It was good to see those guys up front. So this weekend, another packed schedule. So another new series is reviving their schedule this weekend. So in place of the Truck Series, the Arca Menard Series, which is another feeder series into the upper echelons of NASCAR, races at 2:00 this afternoon Eastern time at Talladega. Xfinity Series is at 5:30 this afternoon. So a good afternoon of racing. A lot of up and coming drivers, a lot of action at Talladega with the Sunday race starting at 3:00. So a lot of racing to look forward to here in the next 36 hours.
I'm pumped. What do we need to know about Talladega?
Well, Talladega is a huge track, so it's a restrictor plate track, right? So what that means is there's a lot less air going into the carburetor and the engine, so it packs the cars up in tighter bunches. So unlike a mile-long track or a mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter track that has a bit more of a less regulated package, these cars were going way too fast at the track in the past. These restrictor plates slow them down and put them in the big packs. So with that comes some dangers and some different tactics with racing. That will pan out very quickly in the race. We hear of the big one a lot at Talladega where one individual makes a misstep and the whole field is coming with them. So, it's a challenging racetrack for anyone to master, much less when, 35 other very fast competitors are right in your bubble, in your space, and making it very hard.
Interesting. Very interesting here. Obviously, we got a good lineup going in here. A lot of the names we know and love there at the top. What are your thoughts going in terms of who's in the best position here to ride this one out and get the win?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, when me and Levy were talking about restrictor plate tracks from the start on this podcast, it's always about, this is the one type of track that anyone could really win. This is the great equalizer. So, we've seen some, favorites win. We've seen some, just back markers win, right? So individuals like Brad Keselowski have gotten their first wins here in, I would say, discount rides. Just because of the restrictor plate being the great equalizer with this style of racing. So I don't really have a favorite going in. Chase Elliott won here last year. I think Logano won here last year as well. And Almirola has had success here. Someone that we thought, we've been pretty high on coming into some of these races, considering a starting position. He's kind of faded out. So look for some of these drivers who are middle of the pack to be a lot more aggressive out of the gate to try and, and claim their stake to the front of the field, because there's really one safe place in the field at Talladega, and that's probably leading, but that's still not safe because, someone can crash you in a split second. So this is a big toss up. It's a great opportunity to go for the long shot and hit some big odds.
Yep. Let me real quick, I'll run down the starting grid here and then some of the odds. So top 10, Truex is starting at 1, Hamlin at 2, Kyle Busch at 3, Jimmy Johnson at 4, Harvick at 5, Keselowski at 6, other Busch at 7, Bowman at 8, Logano 9, and Boyer at 10. Chase down there at 11. And then in terms of odds, Chase is the favorite at plus 800, Keselowski at plus 850, Logano plus 900, Hamlin plus 1,000, Kyle Busch plus 1,200, Blaney plus 1,100, Harvick plus 13. So, and Boyer is kind of a sleeper. I know he's won here twice before. He's plus 2,000. So if you're looking for a real flyer,
20-1 on Boyer, and you said 10-1 on our buddy Hamlin. I mean, those are some good days. You don't get those kind of odds on favorites in other sports. But that shows you how challenging this track is to call. So, I think that you're someone that's going to throw down your money on Hamlin because you have so much faith in him. I mean, he's someone that is on a hot streak, but why wouldn't you? 10-1, that's an investment you can't even make on the market these days. So, take a long shot on some of these guys.
What about Harvick at 13-1?
Okay, so Harvick has been one of those guys who just very miss and miss at Talladega. Some of these guys yeah. This is a track where it just hasn't played to his strengths. While he has a decent, top 15, top 20 average finishing position, like he's just not there at the end always. He's someone that there's a couple of strategies to go about Talladega, and one of which that he's partaken in is go to the back of the field and ride around until the last 30 laps, 50 laps, and then he always finds himself getting caught up in a crash and kind of limping it around. So in the past, we haven't seen much success. He's had decent finishes, but just not been able to pull it out.
I don't know. I got a good feeling. I think he's in the Busch Light.
Yeah, those are sharp cars.
Look, if we're not in the Hunt Brothers pizza car, I feel like we are 10 steps ahead of the game here.
Right.
Pizza will slow you down.
I think what's interesting to look at in terms of this track in general, like normally when you see a heavy favorite or whatever, it's like plus 600, plus 550, plus 650. And the favorite this week, which I said is Chase Elliott, is plus 800. That just shows you that they really – there really is no clear-cut favorite. Anything can happen at this track.
Well, are there any steeper turns in NASCAR other than Talladega? Because it is steep based on my experience on the circuit.
Yeah, man, these are the steepest turns. This is the longest track. This is the fastest track. It's a track that has a lot of firsts, a lot of records, and it's massive. It's crazy. I think it's like a 40% banking. That's unheard of.
It's insane. You are truly looking at the ground on the left-hand side when you're making that bank.
Yeah, it's scary. And when we're looking at this track, it's huge, and these odds are huge, and these they're baiting it out of us, guys. I think that they want us to throw our money on Chase. They want us to throw our money on Denny, because someone that is going to not have a chance to win at any other track is going to put it all on the line to win here. A win gets you into the playoffs. That gets you secured sponsorship placement amongst, the creme de la creme of NASCAR. Someone who is not going to have a chance to win elsewhere will win tomorrow because it's their only option to continue to survive in the sport. So I'm excited to see the action happen, on the track tomorrow.
What makes do you like this week?
We've been swinging and missing on those over the last few weeks, right? We've been calling a lot of strong looks for Chevy, and then we've seen the Fords prevail, and Toyota prevail with Martin Truex when we didn't think he was going to have the power. So, if you look at the stats here, I think Chevy has 40 or 45 wins. Thinking back on it, we're probably coming up on 100 total races at Talladega. So across the manufacturers to win about half of them speaks volumes to the package, right? So I would look for a Chevy at HMS to have really strong laps out of the gate. But again, this is a track we're not going to have any practice at. We've had times where we've gone out on the track at this place and in practice, and the cars have been too hard to handle. If we get on the track there and we have something that we're not expecting, it could be just a wreck fest out of the gate. And I think that's something that some people are looking for.
Well, I think it's curious that we have 3 Toyotas out of the gate here with Truex, Hamlin, and Busch. Yep. And then Jimmy Johnson as a lead Chevy, but then you have Kurt Busch, you have Alex Bowman as Chevy, and then Chase Elliott. And don't sleep on my guy Kenseth coming in hot at 13.
Yeah, he drew a good spot. This track, kind of something that we didn't cover, is the teamwork and the efforts that teams go to help get their teammates and colleagues through the race, right? So with Talladega, it's like you said, curious to see those Toyotas up front. While they're all the same make, they're all from the same team. It was a random draw, but I will put I'll put $100 bill on it right now. Tomorrow, when that flag drops, you will see the third place driver fall back a bit and allow the second place driver into line before we get out of turn 2. Like, those Toyotas will lead the first few laps in tandem out of the gate because of the teamwork and the alignment they're going to be bringing tomorrow. So again, it's a track that can prevail at, unlike others where they work a lot better together.
So this is more like Talladega Nights. We're going to be shaking and baking.
Exactly. We're going to be slingshotting. We're going to be going fast. We're going to be flipping through the air, and it's going to be great.
We're going to see some trading paint or what?
Tons of trading paint.
Let's see. So you've also got you kind of like Ty Dillon as a long shot here.
Yeah. So I think Boyer and Ty Dillon are my guys to throw some money on, who have really strong chances to win and have some 2,000 plus odds. Ty Dillon's won stages here. He's won races here. He has an alliance with RCR, which is one of the strongest powers and names in NASCAR at these kind of restrictor plate tracks over the years. So he has good power under the hood, and these teams, these organizations put a lot of money into these races specifically. So the cars like Ty Dillon and Boyer and some of these middle of the pack guys, these cars are their most expensive from a resource and time allotment perspective, because they know they have a greater chance here than any other to get a win. These are all going to be rockets. These are all going to be very, very top level machines. So it's going to be cool to see some of these middle of the pack guys, be at the top of the leaderboard and get some publicity.
You say middle of the pack, but I mean, Ty Dillon's down at 33 out of the gates here. So you still think that no matter what, we got rockets in the shelf and we are coming out firing. We're bobbleheading right now.
Yes. Track position means very little here compared to others. And in a video game, when you're thinking, let's say you start last place, sometimes it's unrealistic. You can get to first in 10, 15 laps, right? But in Talladega, it's
not do that.
soon. At Talladega, though, you have the ability to really catch a wave, if you will, and have a drafting partner that will help you climb through the field very quickly. Earnhardt Sr. won his last race here and came from like 18th, 20th place with a few laps to go to win. These drivers, it's not as much about being in first with 10 laps to go. It's about being, with the person who can help push you to the win. It's more about your partner more than about your track position at any given minute.
That's really interesting. Levy, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I don't know what I'm perplexed as it relates to this track here, because I'm looking deeper at these stats in terms of history here as well. And now I feel like I'm kind of leaning Harvick with you, Buck. I mean, 38 races here and he's got 15 top 10 finishes and only has 1 win, and Kez has 5, but I mean, that's just a lot.
All 5 of them. He's stolen right from under you. You just sweep it in.
Kez the Rat, man. That's his style.
Oh, he has snuck a few out. It's so hard to go on historical information here to pick a winner just because everything is such a toss up. We can go in just like Bristol. We were hitting it big, and we go into last 5 laps, Chase and Logano crash, and everything goes to shit that we had called, right? Same thing with Talladega. That's just how it happens, and that's why everyone loves this race and why this racing style is so much has so much entertainment value. So we're going to be taking shots here because this is one of the most unpredictable tracks on the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, and then you look at a guy like Recky Stenhouse, and he's one of the top average finishers at this track and amongst the current circuit. I mean, that's interesting. Is he the sleeper? I mean, to me, he's absolutely stunk this year.
Yeah, he has, and he has not drawn a good card, except for maybe one top 10 finish, I think, at Bristol. But he is someone that I look at to take a very strong and aggressive stance on winning this race. He's the kind of guy who has one speed, and it's I'm coming through, get the hell out of my way. And sometimes that works out well for him. Sometimes it doesn't, but it has here of recent. So he's gotten W's. He's really broken out as a driver here and someone to look out for no matter what car he's in.
I'm curious on this one, Freeman, and you'll need to educate me here. Are we going to see 3 wide at times here at Talladega?
Yeah, you're going to see 3, 4, and 5 wide. Like this is a huge track. This is, like we talked about, one of the biggest tracks around. It's almost 2 3/4 mile long. And it is probably 5 or 6 cars wide. It's humongous. It is.
Yeah, it takes me like 32 minutes to run that.
It's huge, and it's just in the middle of a field in Alabama, and it just belongs there. It's huge. It's great. It's one of the most well-known tracks, I would say, on the circuit, and something I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully that it lives up to its hype.
When I went to a University of Florida game against Alabama back in 2005, and we drove right past Talladega. You're not kidding. It is in the middle of a field. There's nothing else around. I'm not even sure there's a gas station in the vicinity of that racetrack. It's just all of a sudden you're driving down this freeway, and there's Dega. It's just coming at us live and in color.
I guess it's like 85 or 9. I don't know what highway it is, but you're just chugging along, and then you just see it. You're like, wow.
And there's nothing else for miles.
Yeah, it's like redneck Disneyland.
That's exactly what it is, and I love it.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
It's great.
Well, before we get into our DFS picks, I do want to say real quick that there will be fans soon at NASCAR in some locations. Looks like Texas is going to allow fans, correct, Freeman?
Yeah, they're changing some of the tracks based on local policy are changing some of their stances on admissions. So we're going to have with every passing week, we will likely have more fans in the stands. That's a mouthful. With every passing week, so that'll be great. And it's been interesting to see some of the drivers' takes on that, where they've been saying, "Hey, I look into the stands sometimes after I pass someone, and you just don't see the people, jumping around and being very loud." So I think it'll be cool to have fans back in the stands and add another element that we've been missing as NASCAR fans. Yeah,
for sure. So sadly, I just restocked my Monkey Knife Fight account again because I'm going to start listening to you guys because I get a little too antsy and I go for the 12x or the 24x or whatever crazy odds are out there that I can, try to win some money on. But, maybe today I'll try the 24x because the Levy bag of donuts, the 12x is not working.
Oh, we're doing the bag of. We're getting donuts today, boys.
We're doing the double pack of donuts.
That's a double order. The double donuts. Damn, that's a lot.
I want to double down on my double donuts. Apple.
Oh, and they had the Xfinity race today on Monkey Knife Fight. So that's something new that I haven't seen in the past.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna mess around with the Xfinity race. I gotta conquer the bag of donuts or the double bag of donuts. We're going double bag of donuts today to wrap this up. So I just put $30 in my account. If you've never played on Monkey Knife Fight before, it's awesome. It's the fastest growing DFS site in the world. I love it. I'm getting hooked on it. So if you've never played before, make sure you use code FOCUSED when you deposit. 100% match deposit bonus. Talk about a mouthful. But you deposit 50, you'll get 50. And I will go through the scoring here real quick for you as well. So in terms of fantasy points, you get a 1/10 of a point for every lap led. And then in terms of finishing, first place gets you 20, second place gets you 19 points, third 18, all the way down to 20th place, which only gets you 1 point. So we're doing this on the fly here. This is immediately here, more or less, crushes my soul. It's Chase versus Denny.
Less more for me.
I'm going to go opposite. I think more or less. I think Denny's someone that we're going to look at to do really well. I think the Toyotas are going to reign supreme, tomorrow and have a lot of success. But he's had a lot of wins this season. I think that he's going to be a little bit more flying by the seat of his pants and could find himself, in a precarious situation late just because he's going to let it ride a bit. So I personally think Elliott's going to pull out a W here. Just again, I've been really high on Elliott of recent as the Levy effect. But I think someone like Hamlin
is real, Freeman. We need to get off this.
It's so real. Get out of my head, Levy.
I'm writing the podcast down how much he's incepted our brains into thinking Elliott is the second coming.
I'm drinking the sauce. So I'm gonna go more on Elliott. I'm gonna go less on Hamlin and go out on a limb here.
All right. Well, you know what? I said I was gonna follow you guys, but I just can't do it.
Well, I mean, we were split. We had a complete split decision there, Levy. This one is up to you, pal.
Yeah, so it's obvious. I mean, come on. I got a Denny shirt on, and I love Chase. So life is too short
obviously
to get under. I mean, so naturally, I'm going more and more.
Let's go. You're gonna hit this one. I got faith. I see it, Levy. I see it.
An educated bet by Ryan Levy there.
This is why you see me depositing every Friday, every time we record this show, because but I'm having fun. That's all that matters. And I've learned to. I only put $5 on that. Okay, so it's
okay. All about having fun, pal.
That's it. Yep. All right. So what do we want to get into next here? Give me something.
Let's go for a 3 of 4.
A 3 of 4. All right. Let's see. 3 of 4.
More or less or rapid fire. I like this one.
Oh.
All right. So let's start at the back here. We got Ryan Blaney, more or less 14.5 fantasy points.
I think Blaney's someone who's going to be up there and lead some laps. Look at his teammates. Logano, Keselowski, people have won here over the past few years. Blaney won here. I think Blaney won here last year with Elliott instead of Keselowski now that I think about it. But Blaney's someone who has won here on the last lap taking advantage of a crash. I think 14.5 is extremely achievable, especially with a couple laps led. So I'm going to go more for that. It's more or less a top 10 finish with 10 to 20 laps led.
Any additional thoughts there, Buck?
I just don't see it with Blaney. I say less, but I'm going to trust Freeman's just huge brain on this one.
It's been shrinking of recent, it seems.
Trust me, all of our brains have shrunk collectively. That is
the quarantine Levy effect.
Yes. Sorry, guys.
Week after week, Levy quarantining our brains into abyss.
All right, so Keselowski here, Levy. I mean, we just keep seeing him. This snake out wins 15.5. I just think all these numbers are teases. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, so my mindset here is he's historically done well here, but I still feel like even though he's squeaked out some wins this year, I just haven't been that impressed. Am I wrong for thinking that?
Not at all. But at the same time, I'm going to go more every single time with Keselowski because
you're not wrong, but.
Look, I'm gonna pop this Bud Light Seltzer Mango, and I'm gonna drink this in honor of the number 2 car because this son of a bitch never stops. He's just always on the tail. He's gonna end up in 3rd or 4th place. I don't think he's gonna win this race, but 3rd or 4th place gets you 16 points. So.
Yeah. Don't be at the right place, right? And while you have that seltzer in your hand, man, when I was in Florida, how the hell do you drink beer outside anymore? Like it's seltzer or nothing. It's terrible.
That's a joke, right?
You have like 38 seconds to drink a beer in Florida before it's warm, dude.
It's terrible. I was like, wait, I put my drink down. It was hot. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
No, Freeman, that is not the case, man. You gotta assimilate to the living style down here, okay?
I need to get some accessories to keep my beverages cool and crisp.
Well, that's a part of it, but the bigger part of it is simply we just live a very hot life down here, okay? You get used to it, and Levy can attest to this. You could set out 12 beers for me on a table. I will drink all 12 regardless of temperature. It doesn't matter. I will take them all down. I am an absolute animal when it comes to it, and I think I've been bred for it. Shout out to my dad, Jan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm too hot and sweaty and hate it. It was nice to be there for a bit, but it would take me too long to get used to the Florida weather lifestyle.
It's wild. It is wild. The funny part is, so my dad and I couldn't be further from each other, except for the fact that we both love beer, like a lot, everyday beer. So that's something you pick up from your parents, right?
Right.
The funniest part is, though, I can drink beer pretty much at any temperature because, I've spent time in England, and you do the cask ales, and it's, cellar temperature. So it's, like 60 degrees or whatever. It's not cold. So I like any beer. I don't care. My dad, on the other hand, he has to so when my dad is drinking beers, he has his beers in the fridge. However, he has to before he drinks his first beer, he puts it in the freezer for 16 minutes, and then he goes back, and then he puts his second beer in the freezer, and he only does freezer beers.
I mean, that's genius, except until you forget that one in the freezer and you wake up in the morning and it exploded everywhere. Right. I mean, there's nothing better than a cold beer, but like that first one has to be the coldest, or it just ruins my beer experience.
So the last time my dad, he stayed over here, this was, goddamn, this must have been last year, June. Tottenham played in the Champions League final. My dad's a big Spurs supporter like myself. And he slept on the couch, and he had left 2 beers in the freezer. They just exploded everywhere. But he got tanked.
Next time.
Let's be honest, Jan. Jan got tanked.
He had 2 beers in there. He was preparing to drink 2 more at the same time. He passed out. That was a fun night.
Yep. It was 5:30 p.m.
I need a cold beer, speaking of.
Right.
I can't wait.
The 16-minute, the science behind that. I love that, Buck.
16 minutes, no joke.
I'm going to write that one down here on my noteboard real quick. 16.
So, Freeman, are you on board with – There you go.
You got it.
You on board with over or more than 15.5 on Kez? Freeman?
Yeah, on Kez. I think so. Yeah, he's someone that's, again, he's going to lead some laps. He'll be there at the end, and he can always sneak out a W. So I think more on Kez. Elliott, again, more. Hamlin's the other one we're indifferent on. This was, again, another toss-up. That's why I think the 304 is going to be your best chance to really make money here at Talladega, because you have a little bit of wiggle room for one of your guys to be caught up and involved in a wreck. So that's where you can be a little bit more risky with a Hamlin or a Keselowski if you're not as confident.
All right. Well, I'm just life's too short to bet the under. So I'm going to take the over here again, or the more.
Or on all of them. Look at that's ballsy.
I hate that.
It's not smart, but it's 3 or 4.
But it's Talladega. It's Talladega.
It's true. It's true.
It's actually become fun for you two to watch me unravel on Monkey Knife Fight every week.
Is that the title of this episode?
Yeah, the unraveling.
All right, what should we do here? Well, I gotta save $5 for the 24X. So let's go with should we do a rapid fire? What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, let's try a rapid fire so we can do some matchups.
All right. So let's do a
I hear your dog coming in to check on you there, Freeman.
Oh, he's actually going away. It like just echoes down the fucking hallway.
All right, so we're gonna do a 3 of 4 here again, because I know the payouts aren't as good, but I'm trying not to deposit again next Saturday. So let's
bank
go.
of Levy.
Yes. All right, so 3 out of 4 here. You're gonna get 2x your buy-in. So I'm gonna put $10 on this one, and I'm gonna save 5 for the double bag of donuts. 24.
Oh, you've got some hard decisions here.
Yeah,
Let's start it out here. All right, we'll rip the family up. Who are you going with? With Hamlin with a 1.5 favorite or advantage against Chase?
For me, a 1.5 in terms of fantasy racing points is a lot. What's that?
15 laps.
Yeah. So for me, Denny's been hot. So I'm going to lean Denny here plus 1.5. What do you guys think?
I'm with Denny.
Yeah, I like the advantage here, especially in a matchup. We're kind of maybe contradicting some of our previous bets, but again, it's just Talladega. Anything can happen. It's hard to call who's going to be where at what time, but I think that's a pretty good call.
All right, cool. So next up, we got Kez versus Blaney, and Blaney is a 1.5 point dog to Kez, but we're pretty high on Kez based on his history here and how he's been finishing lately. So what do you guys think?
I think the more that I listen to Bucky's wisdom, I think Kez is going to be in the right place at the right time compared to Blaney, especially in a head-to-head matchup. So they're making a hard decision on here. These are teammates. You're going to be in very similar rides, have very similar power. They're going to be, they're going to be bumper to bumper most of the race working together. So, a very small change at the end of the race could really shift this bet. But I think Kez is a good one to go with here, even considering the disadvantage with the points.
Freeman, I appreciate you calling it wisdom. Most call it worthless blabbering, so I appreciate that.
You bet.
Love it. All right, then next up we got Truex versus Kurt Busch.
Yeah.
And Truex is a 0.5 point dog.
Truex. It's Truex. He's had the hotter car. He's had the faster car. I'm going Truex.
I'm on board with that. Freeman?
Yeah, and I think the pups nails clicking in here are a sign to go with Truex. He came in at the right time. We're talking about Truex. He's agreeing with us. Kurt Busch is someone who has won a couple races, being at the right place at the right time. He won a Daytona 500, which is also a restrictor plate track. But again, I just haven't seen it out of him of recent. So Truex come off a win of recent. He's in a fast ride. He's starting on the pole, a couple laps let out of the gate. I think someone like Truex definitely has a shot over Busch.
Yeah, Freeman, I heard your dog's nails. They said 19. Yep.
It was 19 clicks exactly, I think. He's looking at me right now.
I heard it.
Yeah, that's what I counted.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love it. All right, this one's kind of tough. We got Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. We've been talking about Harvick a little bit here. I personally lean Harvick. According to the Vegas odds, though, Kyle Busch is slightly more favored to win this race at plus 1,200 in comparison to Harvick at plus 1,300. What do you guys want to do, though?
Harvick's Mr. Consistent here, right? He's got a lot of top 15 finishes. Busch is always a checkers or wreckers kind of guy. So I don't know. I just haven't felt Busch of recent. He's been very purple, as Bucky would say. He's not been in the best of paint schemes. He's been kind of sucking it up.
That's exactly how I would say it.
Harvick finds his place. He's going to be in his right paint scheme. He's going to be fast, and if Busch is anything close to what he's been of recent in those purple cars, I think he's going to be in the dump before halfway through.
Yeah, it's a brand new Coldplay song. It's called Purple.
I love it. All right, I'm on board with that.
I wish that joke would have hit. It certainly didn't.
I'm sorry. I was just so focused. I'm assuming you're talking about that Yellow song.
Yeah, it was a play on Yellow. It was a terrible misstep by me.
Oh.
I was just so focused, on getting that in there.
Next time.
Whenever you have to explain the joke, it missed. Yeah.
Sorry, Buck.
It's okay.
I normally pick those up so quickly on you.
Trust me, I'm a ball of wax today.
All right, so we're
What
gonna.
is this fuckery? Oh man,
we're finishing up with the big dog.
What is this?
This is new. This is new. Look, you're gonna get. They added there. I'm pretty sure they added this for me. We got a good relationship with the guys at Monkey Knife Fight. They're like, all right, look at this idiot every week that goes in here and blows his load on the 12.
Gives us money.
Yeah. So, all right, let's just make it 24x you're buying now and entice you even more.
You can get it. Come and get it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can. This is a lottery pick right here. But
wait, so it's 5 of 6 is all?
6 of 6.
Oh, good God.
Sheesh.
This is impossible.
All right, so let's start it here with a chase at a Moore, easy peasy.
We'll start with Chase at Moore.
And now it gets hard.
All right, let's go to the end here. Let's go Kurt Busch, 14.5.
Less.
Yeah, I'm on board with less.
Truex, I like Moore.
I like Moore.
Blaney.
Less.
We went more earlier, didn't we?
I went less.
I think we did on a 3 out of 4. Let's go less with Blaney, more on Kez.
Yep. I'm with you there, Freeman.
So then
and then the Denny Levy effect. What are we thinking here?
Freeman, I want some like real analysis from you here. Denny's been racing really well. However, considering the fact that we have to factor in five other drivers here, I'm going to say less just out of circumstance.
I like that because again, if we put more here, what we're saying is, we're more or less calling the top 5 or top 7, more than half of them, not considering laps led. So still, Talladega is a crapshoot.
Kez finishes 4th.
But there is some method to the madness from these front runners. Elliott is always around, has a fast car, he leads laps. Same goes for Hamlin. Same goes for Keselowski. But I kind of side with you here a little bit. I think there's going to be something late that may happen that could throw a big wrench into the mix here, and there's going to be someone that we expect to have a strong finish to not. So I think that we may want to take a guess here on a less to hit it big on the 6 out of 6.
This is insane, by the way.
So here's what's going to happen. If you guys are listening, watching this later, if you're not watching live right now, take the advice of Freeman and Bucky, and if you want to play the 6 out of 6, 24x your buy-in, take the less on Denny, 15.5. But what I'm going to do,
here he goes. Yes,
this is my
how it happens every week, Freeman.
This is how it happens, All right, but what I'm going to do, I'm not a Bass Pro Shop guy, I'm not a Truex guy. So I'm going to
flip less more.
I'm gonna go less on Truex, even though that 14.5 is really enticing, and I'm gonna go more on Denny. I got the Denny shirt on, I got the Denny vibes out there. Look at this. I'm throwing down $5, and I'm gonna win myself $120. That's gonna take care of
a double bag.
That's it.
That's
the double bag.
Okay, if you hit this, like Monkey Knife Fight has to do a special bag of donuts Levy promotion, I will stand on that hill. Yeah,
we're gonna push for that.
Yeah, we're gonna change the name to Bag of Donuts.
I called it on the soccer live stream here that we did for the Premier League, Alex. I did the Bucky basket of apples is what we called the massive one. Because
I love that.
When Tottenham wins, I eat apples.
I love it. Give yourself a plug here, man. When's the next live show on EPL?
Well, if you like soccer, it's the only thing on, and it's on every single day for the most part for the next 6 weeks. You can find us at Fantasy Focus. The same channel you're currently subscribed to will be on every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Love it, man.
And does it covers just one team or just the general league?
Every match, our match picks, our DFS picks on Monkey Knife Fight.
Nice.
Everything you need, Freeman.
I'll tune in. A lot of my buddies in college played on the soccer team, and I was absorbed via osmosis in a lot of that gambling. So it was fun to keep up with it. I've lost touch of recent, but I'll tune in on. You said Thursday, right?
Thursday, 9 p.m.
You got it.
Love it. All right. Well, it's been fun, gents. Freeman, any words of wisdom to wrap us up here in Talladega?
Just kick your feet up and enjoy this one because nothing that you do or say is going to impact the results of it. It's going to take its own course here, and there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position. One thing I'm excited about is just to have a lot of action. It is a combination of the Darlington race action with the short track action of Bristol. Everyone's very tight, close knit, but it's always high energy. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this out of the start. A lot of drivers jockeying for position. They know they're going to get up front to stay up front or go out back and wait it out. So there's going to be a lot of comers and goers and a great race to watch.
I think Eric Jones wins it.
I love
I
it,
like
man.
that.
Tyler, I see you down there talking some trash with the Man U draw.
I mean, it was a
fired
draw.
up.
There's no trash talking. That is literally the epitome of we are equal.
Oh man, it's been fun. Enjoy the race on Sunday, everyone. Make sure you're following us and subscribing to our podcast and all that stuff. If you enjoyed the video, show us some love with a subscription or a like, whatever the kids are saying these days. And make sure you tune in next week for some more action. And follow us on social media at Fantasy Focused and at BackOTPack on all forms of social media as well. See you guys next week.
Good seeing you guys.
I love every one of you, especially Freeman.